Hello, Flosstube. Welcome back to my 66th episode of my Flosstube. If you are new here, welcome. If you're coming back, welcome back. On my channel, you will find both videos on cross stitch and videos on paper crafting or card making. So if it says Flosstube, you know it's cross stitch. If it says Facebook Live, then it's my card making. So today you have found one of my cross stitch videos. So this is going to be a recap of my stitching in May. So I'll show you. I really didn't get any finishes. I had two small finishes that I'll show you when I get to plans because it's a 3-part thing that I need to do. But I got a lot of stitching done. I did total 11,350 stitches, which is a lot for me. That's a lot in 1 month. So let's get started. I'm going to start with Whip Go. So I have 2 Whip Go boards, if you're not familiar with my Whip Go. One for fancy ladies and one for full coverage. And then I try and do either 5 hours or 500 stitches on each thing that's called. So I have 2 fancy ladies and 2 full coverage every month. That's been a lot to keep up with, and I don't think I'll do that next year. I'm going to try and keep up with it the rest of the year because I am enjoying getting like some of these fancy ladies I haven't worked on in years. So it's been fun to get them out. So the first one, this one, not that it really matters, was number 19 that was called, this is Red Lady Pirate. And I'm stitching this on a over dyed fabric, and I can't remember who the dyer is, but they're no longer in, they don't dye fabric anymore. So this is where I am now, and I'll put a picture in of where it was at the beginning. And I did, how many stitches? 531 stitches on this one, and I was working over here. So she's beautiful. I had worked on her in the last few years. This next one I hadn't worked on in I don't know how many years. So the next Whip Go call was at the Met. I'm getting over a cold, so hopefully I won't be sniffing too much. So that's what this one will look like. And I did 487 stitches on this one. And I'll put a picture in of what it looked like last time. And this is on, I think it's a hand dyed by Stephanie, but I don't have the color here, but it's really pretty. So I finished filling in this dark gray and then worked some more down here. So, very pretty. So those were my 2 fancy lady Whip Go calls. I'm putting them back away so it won't be quite as much of a disaster when I'm done. It still takes a long time to put everything completely away, but at least this helps. All right, and then my full coverage calls for this month of Whip Go. One was Quick Stitch Psyche's Butterflies. And I actually do have this. I bought this in paper format. This was the first one that I did, the first Heaven and Earth that I bought. And I didn't know anything about digital patterns or gridded fabric. So this is on a 25 count, just even weave. And I'll put a picture in of where it was last time also. So I'm getting there. I just have, this is the bottom of it, and then this is the side. So I just have to fill in this and this up here. And I was doing Royal Rose and parking, but I've kind of stopped parking now, so I'm working those in as I get to them. Really pretty colors. I was hoping to have that done this year. We'll see. See how many more times I get to work on it. All right. And then my other full coverage was Woman in a Field of Flowers. And I'll put a picture in of what it's going to look like and where I was last time. So these stitches I actually did in April. This is a design by Stitches So Beautiful, and they have a event, I don't know, a stitch along, whatever, every month, and if you stitch so much every week and post your progress, then they will send you a free chart, and it's one they've picked out, and it's one that's not available yet. And so I did that in April. So I counted those stitches for my May whip go, just because I couldn't fit in another thing this month, so, or in May. So this is, in April, actually, I did 1,131 stitches, and I got my free chart. And I didn't write that down in my plans, but I am going to work on this again this month for that same thing. For the Stitches So Beautiful challenge, I'm going to work on her again this month. And you have to do 250 stitches every week and post your progress in order to get that free chart. Okay, those were my whip go numbers. I have my notes over here, that's why I keep looking down. So now temperature stitching. So I have Dressmaker's Daughter. This is another Mirabilia. This is one, I've mentioned this before, but my friend from Canada and I, Michelle, we are hoping to go to the Shepherd's Bush event next year. It's every other year. And as a part of that, I would love to go to Jill Rensel's framing. And so this is what I would like to have done by then to frame. So it's gonna take some work, but this is what it will look like when it's finished. And I've been working on this summer one, and I'll put a picture in of what it looked like at the beginning of the month. So I didn't do, this one didn't get called, it only got called twice. So for my temperature stitching, when it gets called, I do 100 stitches on it. So it only got called twice, so I did 213 stitches on it. And I have, spring is complete except for the beading, and I've got a good start on autumn. But I decided since we were in summer, I would work over here on summer for this temperature stitching. So once I get through some of these other things, like the Heaven and Earth stitch along, I'll have to really concentrate on that Dressmaker's Daughter. All right, and then the next temperature piece is Spring Alphabet Garden. This was a class I took at my LNS from Jeanette Douglas, and so this is not available to the public yet. But this was everything. We got these 4 pieces. This is what I'm working on. And this one got called 6 times, and I did 749 stitches. And so this is where we are. Oops. This is where we are now. Really pretty colors. It's a 36 count. I don't remember what it is now. If you want to know, let me know in the comments and I can tell you. And we're doing 1/2, and it's with over dyed floss. And then this little bird is 1/1 on 36 count. Not my favorite part, but I got it done. He looks okay. So that was my second temperature. So the way I do my temperature stitching is I just picked out 5 and assigned them each 2 numbers. And then the second digit of the temperature decides which project I work on. Because we're on Fahrenheit here, so rarely do we have single digits, especially in Arkansas. All right, Seasons of the Heart Summer. This is by Brenda Gervais. So this is a book that has all 4 seasons. I finished spring, and now I'm working on summer. And this one was called 9 times, but I only did 772 stitches. I think it got called some when I was at Stitch North at the beginning of the month, and I just never made up the stitches, which is okay. But I did get the body of the house done now, and then I decided to come over here and work on that border a little bit just for a break before I tackled the roof. All right, and then Ladybug Picnic. This is a hands-on design. Whoops, forgot to put that in there. Oh, and I forgot to tell you the Seasons of the Heart is on a 32 count vintage country mocha. I don't know what that one is. The Dressmaker's Daughter is on the called for, I think it's Witchell chocolate milk. I've been forgetting to tell you fabrics. This is Ladybug Picnic by Hands On Design. This is what it will look like when it's finished. And I am doing it on the 32 count pomegranate from Hand Dyed by Stephanie. So he's getting close. I have to finish the flowers over here and then his head. So this one was called 6 times, but I did 1,048 stitches on him. So I pulled him out a few extra times. I thought about trying to keep track of which were temperature stitches and which were other, and I decided that was too much. I'll just tell you the total stitch count for the project. All right, and then the last temperature one is the Extraordinary Bird Style by Lola Crow, and I'll put a picture in of what it looks like so far. We've had, the first part was the frame, and we've had 3 parts since then, and I'm not caught up, but the 3rd part just came out Friday, and I have been working on it. So let me show you everything I have done so far, if I can get it to show. So I have a little, I don't have the whole frame done, but I did get the top of it and then worked my way down because she told us the first parts were going to be in this middle area at the bottom. So I made sure I worked my way down so I could find those. And then, so the first part was the spoonbill and this Birds of Paradise. And then the second part, and there's, I think the second part had the greenery too. The blue-footed booby, and this is a vampire finch on his back, and he actually does peck on the back of the booby, and he's got little blood on his beak. I don't know if you can see it. And then the 3rd part that came out, and I don't know these birds yet, but there's one here, and there's like 4 or 5 little birds. And I love how she added the, see, that's the reflection of the spoonbill in the water. Her charts are just amazing. I have started all of her stitch alongs. I have finished none of them, have not kept up at all. So this one I'm really trying to keep up on. Again, I don't have the whole frame done, but I can work, like I worked on some of this dirt down here that was in the original release as I was doing these. So I'm hoping I can kind of add that in as I'm getting the pieces done. So it's been fun. So this one was called 9 times, but I put in 3,099 stitches on it because I was working on it a lot extra, just trying to stay caught up to some extent anyway. All right, that is all of my temperature stitching. And then I just have a couple of other whips that I worked on. One is the Heaven and Earth stitch along, and I'll put a picture in of what it's going to look like and where it was last time. This month I did 2,287 stitches on it, and this is where it is now. So I've got the first 2 pages done up here, and then I've been working on these 2 down here. There is a 3rd page and a partial page that's been released, that was released in the first part, but because I couldn't quite get all of that 3rd page in my Q-snap, I just decided to come down here. Besides, I was tired of working on Sky, and I wanted to work on something else. So that's where this guy is. I really am trying to get 6 pages done by the end of the year so I can have the rest of the stitch along pieces. I don't know that I'll get the whole thing done so I can get a free chart, but all right, so that is all of the we already finished the temperature stitching, sorry. And the only other whip that I worked on that wasn't temperature or whip go is this Nature's Journey, and this is in the Just Cross Stitch catalog, Just Cross Stitch magazine. The first part came out in the spring, I think it's spring. Yeah, spring this year, and then the second part we already have was in the next one, so they will all come out in So this is the part I'm working on. We have this summer part, and then the other two will be released in the other two issues this year. So I didn't work on this very much. 482 stitches, and I did this, I did these right here. I think I did this flower, maybe finished up that. It's really pretty, I love it. I have too many other things that I need to work on. So that's why next year I probably will not do Whip Go. I like pulling out my Mirabilia, so I may just have a wheel where I spin it and choose one for the month to try and get some work done on. But trying to keep up with 4 Whip Goes, plus the Heaven and Earth Stitch Along, plus temperature stitching, plus homework. I have homework now. So now we'll go into plans. I am not, for this month in June, I'm not gonna do my temperature stitching because I have a class coming up at my LNS from Hands On Design, Kathy from Hands On Design. And this is what we're going to be doing. I don't know what we're going to be doing with these, but we're going to finish them. So our homework is to have those 3 pieces stitched. So these are my 2 little finishes I told you about at the beginning. I have the first and the second ones stitched. So the little sun and then this little guy. And then the third one I made a start on today. So I just got a little bit done on the house in the middle. So this class is at the end of June. So I need to get that finished. My friend Michelle from Canada is coming to that class. And so I have other homework because she is a quilter. And so she knows how to finish things. Sorry, I'm trying to find, there's too many things in here. Okay, where's that? Oh, okay. So we are going to do this together. We're going to finish this together. So this was Kathy's freebie from this. She does a freebie for her anniversary. I'm covering up the bottom because that's where the chart is. So I have to stitch that. Have I started? No. I have to have it finished by the time Michelle gets here so that we can finish it together. She already has her stitch. So I did get some fabric. This is 32 count flax. And the threads are in there, but I'm not gonna, I had enough hard time finding this. And then the other thing I have to have finished, she had a class during the spring fling. We were at Stitch North, but we watched it later. And then she sent a free chart after that class. But I don't think I have a picture of the free chart. Hang on, let me see. Nope, that's the heart. Nope, there's a Oops-a-Daisy. And I'm sorry, I don't have a picture of it. I'll try and find one and put it in. But I did grab some fabric for it. It's supposed to be on Periwinkle, but we found this. This is Cryptic, I don't know. Nightshade, BCD. I am gonna have to have my LNS write down all of their abbreviations for me. But it's got some really beautiful shading on it. I'll just have to figure out where. I may not want all of that shading on the piece I'm doing. I may want it to be more in the less modeled area. So I have to have that stitched before my friend comes at the end of June, so we can do those together. I mean, if I don't, it's not the end of the world, but I'm sure she already had her heart done, so I know she'll have that done. The other thing we're going to try and put together is the star from Liz Matthews from the Jingle Ball. Last year, I had signed up for the Jingle Ball, but I did not get to attend any of it. My mom actually passed away on the day that Jingle Ball started. The last thing on my mind was worrying about any classes that I had signed up for. So I had the star from Liz Matthews stitched, but I hadn't done any finishing, and so we're going to tackle that while she's here. So we have lots of plans while she's here. We'll see if we get them all done. Plus, we're going to that 2-day class from Hands-On Design. So when I come back the first part of July for my June recap, I don't have a lot of fully finished things to show you. Okay, plans. WIPGO. I am going to get all of these homework pieces done first, and then I hopefully will have some time to do WIPGO. If it runs into July, you know, it's not a big deal. Like they say, your board, your rules. So if I have to move those over into July to get them finished, that's fine. But I wanted to show you what my WIPGO numbers were. So for the Fancy Ladies, the Red Lady Pirate got called again. So I just showed you that one. The other one that got called is Lady of the Flag. Oops, sorry. And I am lucky enough, I have pretty much bought Mira's for years and years. So I have an original Lady of the Flag. Because I know that's a hard one to find. But I was lucky. And I'm doing her on, I don't have very much. This is, it's by Primitive Hair, and I can't remember if it's called Preamble or Constitution, but it's this one that has the words, whoops, printed on it. And so I just started with the flag because I knew where I wanted it to come on the fabric, and I made sure it will fit. And I'm also going to do, and I'm sorry, I don't know whose conversion this is, but there's a green conversion. So it looks like the weathered, like it does. And I thought that would show up better on this fabric than the gold, than the original gold. So I don't know if I can really show you, but it's got more of the 5, nope, that's a 38. Anyway, yeah, 501. I use Flosstube bags, so they're kind of hard to. So the greens instead of the golds. So I really do want to work on that. So hopefully I can get my homework done and keep up with Heaven and Earth Stitch Along and keep up with my Extraordinary Bird Stitch Along. That's what I'm saying. There's just too much for me to do. Excuse me. Okay, then my WIPGO numbers for full coverage was the Quick Stitch Psyche's Butterflies, which I already showed you, so I was glad to see that one come up. And the other one was Beachcomber's Bounty. So I'll put a picture in of what it's going to look like. This is a Heaven and Earth design. Artist is Amy Stewart. And this is where I am so far. And again, this was when I was parking, but I'm converting it back into diagonal. So I'll start working in those parked threads as I get to that diagonal. So again, I really would love to work on this one too. So I'm gonna have to work hard on my homework and my stitch along so I can get these WIPGO calls worked on too. All right, I think that's it. So WIPGO plus my 2 stitch alongs plus my homework. I think that will keep me busy. All right, so the last thing is haul or acquisitions. I did get my May fabric of the month from Be Stitch Me. It's called Grog. So this is what it looks like. It's pretty close. It always washes out if you put it up too close, but it's a nice tan neutral, beautiful modeling. And then I did pick up some stuff. At my LNS, I was there last week just for a stitch day. Then I had ordered a few things. So I have a few charts that I got too. This is, and some of these are from Market, and I just couldn't buy everything at once. So I've been kind of buying them a little at a time. So this is Liberty from Brenda Gervais, and you've probably seen all of these. And a couple more Brenda Gervais. The Summer Trio. And the Spring Trio. Oh, you can put them all together. I just noticed that. As one long piece. I probably will put them in pillows because I need them. And then I had to get this one because I had seen humpback whales in Alaska, and my grandson is always asking me about them and loves them. So this is Sea Animal Trio by Pantini Pantini. So it's got this humpback whale. I like all of them. I love the fabric. Let's see if it says. The Beach, hand-dyed by Manny Didana. I'll have to find something fun. This is a Scarlet House Patriotic Alphabet. And the Scarlet House Wallflowers. That's pretty. It uses all over dyed, it looks like. Down Hemingway fabric. And then this was in their sale, and I just thought they were cute. Rovaris, these little strawberries. I don't think it has a name. Hers often don't have names, at least not that I can tell. But little Christmas strawberries. And then these are what I got on the, excuse me, online from 123 Stitch. I'm gonna have to stop talking pretty soon. This is Night Owl by Stitchy Prose. So this is using that Night Garden threads, which I have. So I've been picking up a few of those. This one, I can't remember who showed this, but it was one I thought was really cute. Hester's Special Delivery by Pansy Patch Quilts. And then I had to get this one. I worked in the library for 15 years before I moved down here to Arkansas. And so this is an ode to libraries from Heartstrings St. Fleury. So pretty. And then a couple of blue flower ones. This is Prairie Home. So I grew up in Kansas. That's where I'm from, which is definitely prairie country. So I love that. Yeah. Problem is I want to start all of these now. And then this is Sea and Shore. I just thought it was too fun. Sorry for the glare. It's a bright sunny day here, so I have a window that's also not helping. And then, I don't know if it's the latest memorabilia, but like I said, I get all of them. This is Madame Mermaid. And I don't know if this was the first one. So she's got a new collection, Dreamers collection, and you're supposed to be able to mix and match the tops and the bottoms of them, which I haven't really looked into yet. I'll probably stitch them as they're charted someday when I stitch them. All right, I believe that is it. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed what I had to show you, and hopefully when I come back in July, I will have a lot of full finishes to show you. All right, I will see you next time. Bye.